Hello again. I was fascinated to read the following advice, which was given by the NHS and to which I give a link in the description to this video. I quote, "Cold weather can seriously affect your health. Stay as warm as possible by heating your home." Thank goodness they told me that. I would never have thought of turning on the central heating at this time of year otherwise. Having regular hot drinks and meals will also help. There now, how many people would starve to death or die of dehydration if we didn't have the National Health Service to set us on the right path? Make sure you have sufficient food and any repeat medication so that you can cope if you're unable to leave the house. If you're unable to leave the house, why should any of us be unable to leave the house, you ask? Are blizzards or hurricanes or floods expected? No. It's simply that January tends to be a little cooler as a rule than July, and many people don't seem to realise this, I'm guessing. They'd probably be going shopping in their t-shirts if the NHS website didn't remind them to, let me see, yes, wear multiple thin layers of clothing. Multiple, you fools! Thin t-shirt alone won't do the trick. You'll have to wear your coat as well. What weather conditions are we actually expecting? It's the first question we ask ourselves, and I give a link in the description to this video to the Met Office weather forecast, which warns that in this part of Essex between 4 in the morning and 9 tomorrow morning, which will make 4 to freezing point. That is 5 hours in the night when it might be a little frosty, but it won't actually be cold enough for water to freeze. That is the deadly threat to our health which we actually face. It means that already there is talk of schools being unable to reopen next week, lest the cold weather harm children and teachers. For some years now it has been customary to close schools altogether if there is snow, but a year ago this practice was extended to frosty weather and the threat of ice, both of which are also now seen as a menace to life and limb. I'm not altogether sure what the motive for all this might be. I think that one might perhaps be that because there is such a determination to convince everybody that the earth is heating up, then any cold weather must be treated as a freak event, something quite out of the ordinary. It is so uncommon for cold weather to strike us, what with global boiling and so on, that naturally we have to treat it with extreme caution. Otherwise nobody would know how to look after themselves if it was a bit chilly. Of course, there was a time when weather like that expected in the next day or two was simply taken as read. I thought that the first verse of the carol in the bleak midwinter, originally published in 1872 as a poem by Christina Rossetti, might give us a clue as to what we might reasonably expect to see in the middle of winter in this country. In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow, in the bleak midwinter. Nothing new then about a bit of cold weather and a spot of snow, perhaps.